Good evening. It is 6:00 p.m. The Board of Trustees of the Brenham Independent School District is now convened. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present. In collaboration with our families and community, Brenham ISD is committed to providing an exceptional education for all students in a safe environment. As the Brenham ISD Board of Trustees, we are here to provide local citizen governance and oversight. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees. School board meetings are open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. Audience participation is limited to the public comment portion of the meeting. These proceedings are recorded, and I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. Thank you for taking the time this evening to join us for your interest in the Brenham Independent School District. At this time, Justin Colley will lead us in the pledge, followed by the invocation given by Sean Kuntz.
Us this day, but you gave it to us. And Lord, pray that we use every minute to be able to make the things that you value in this world go forward. Father, I pray that as a school board, Lord, that we'll honor you in all that we do, that our integrity will be high and that our word will be strong, and that, Lord, will be supportive of our community that has elected us to these positions. Lord, I pray for our educators, that they would be encouraged, that they're bringing hope in the lives of young people, and Lord, that they are truly making a difference, even if it takes a while to see it. And pray for the parents who sometimes are quite tired and a little bit overwhelmed, that Lord, they would be encouraged, and that Lord, we'd use our words to encourage them as well. And for our students who are just looking for that next opportunity and looking for that purpose in life, that they would understand that they are enough because you've created them just as they are and just as they should be. And Lord, help us to bring out that full potential in our education and also in our personal space as well. Thank you again, Lord, for this opportunity to serve in this capacity. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, we didn't have anyone sign up for public comment today, so we're going to go straight into special recognition. I'd like to invite Principal Watts to come forward as he recognizes the students and employees of the month.
Good afternoon, Board President, Board. It is indeed a pleasure to stand before you today to announce my students of the month and my para and my teacher of the month. First, I want to start off with the student of the month. We have two of them. First one is Mason Sieber. Mason consistently demonstrates a positive attitude, strong work ethic in the classroom and on the field, and respects others well. He approaches each day with determination and willingness to learn, setting a great attitude for his peers. Mason is hardworking and respectful student who leads by example. His positive attitude, dependability, and dedication makes him a great choice for Student of the Month. Thank you, Mason, for making a difference in other students and making Brenham High School a better place. Thank you. Congratulations. My next Student of the Month is Princeton Hall. Princeton Hall is a committed student, an athlete who knows the importance of putting his coursework first. His leadership skills, positive attitude, and strong work ethic makes him a great example for his peers. He respects others well and leads by example. We're lucky to have a student like Princeton who makes Brenham High School a better place. Thank you for making Brenham High School a better place and for your peers. Thank you. Congratulations. Stay right here. Next is our para of the month, Ms. Kapuscinski. The amount of time and dedication Ms. Kapuscinski position is immeasurable. From transcripts, registration, withdrawals, scholarships, she makes sure it's all done. Trust me, it needs to get done, and she makes sure it's done. She is always on top of grades, and when I say she's on top of grades, she makes sure the teachers get their grades in, and even though they are correct. She has a smile on her face, and sometimes that is all we need to see to feel better. We're blessed to have her at Brenham High School campus. Ms. Kapuscinski. Thank you. All right, stay right here. Next is our Teacher of the Month, Ms. Pahota. Ms. Pahota does so much for Brenham High School campus that we may not notice. She pours her heart and soul into everything she does and leads a hand in everyone who may need help. Carrie is always putting others first, in the classroom and out of the classroom as well. Her dedication, time, and energy is always invested in Brenham to make the student, school, and community the best it can be. She did an absolute outstanding job preparing us for the homecoming celebration, which was the largest one ever, with 117 entries, and she was the one that led that. So congratulations, Ms. Pahoda. Okay. Shake everybody's hand.
Congratulations. Hey, congratulations.
Okay. Next, we have our National Merit Commended Scholars. Again, Mr. Watts, Principal Watts.
Good afternoon again, sir. Brenham High School proudly announced that Levi DuPont, Caitlin Allen, and Drake Binky has been recognized as National Merit Commended Scholars through the National Merit Scholarship Program. This prestigious honor places them among the top 3% students nationwide who demonstrated exceptional academic promise based on their outstanding performance on the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. Brenham High School congratulates Levi, Caitlin, and Drake for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to excellence. Their accomplishments reflect the strong academic standards and the spirit of achievement that define Brenham High School and Brenham ISD. Congratulations. This is Drake Binky, and this is Levi DuPont. Here you go, Drake. Here you go. All right.
Okay, next we have students advancing in the Texas Association of Future Educators, TAFE. Ms. Caldas?
See, y'all go up here. Y'all go up here. Go up. What do you mean? Scoot back. There you go. Right? You want them up there?
They can come on this side.
Okay, come over here. Sorry. We've done that in the past.
Come on.
You got it? Yeah. Yes.
Stand right here. Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you, members of the board and Mr. Watts, for allowing me to highlight the education and training pathway and our TAFE program. My name is Heather Caldas, and I have the privilege of teaching and learning alongside these remarkable young adults standing before you. For those who may be less familiar with the pathway, we are now in our 4th year, and the program has continued to grow each year. This CTE pathway consists of 4 courses offered both as high school electives and as dual credit options in partnership with Blinn College. The final 2 courses provide students with hands-on field experience, allowing them to learn and grow under the guidance of a mentor teacher at a Brenham ISD campus. Our students lead Cub Time groups, support small group instruction, assist with PE classes, and contribute in many other meaningful ways. While we may not be the largest program on the campus, our reach extends far beyond our classroom because our students spend significant time on BISD campuses. They play an active role in supporting young learners and strengthening student success across the district. In addition to the education and training classes, we also established a Taffy chapter, and at this time, I would like to invite our current Area 5 officers, Isabella Clover and Bridget Oriana Martel, to share more about this co-curricular organization.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bridget Oriana Martel, and I'm currently our chapter's second vice president, as well as the 2026-2027 Area 5 historian. I have been a member of TAFE for 2 years. For those who may not know, TAFE stands for the Texas Association of Future Educators. It is one of the 13 career and technical student organizations recognized by the Texas Education Agency. Our chapter is incredibly diverse, made up of band members, bells, cheerleaders, football players, and students from all across campus. You can oftentimes find us serving our community at babysitting events or assisting our teachers in their classrooms as we continue building our teaching skills. Members who choose to compete have competed in events such as children's literature, interactive bulletin boards, public speaking, and teacher creative materials. This year, our chapter also entered a design in the Area 5 t-shirt competition, and we won. The winning design was created by Kaylin Bogan. And it's the black shirt worn by our members who competed at the area conference.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Isabella Clover, and I currently serve as our chapter president as well as the Area 5 second vice president for the 2025-2026 school year. This is my 4th year in TAFE, and throughout my time in the organization, I have learned so much from my peers and gained connections that have helped me grow into the leader I am today. Area 5 covers 21 counties in Texas. This year, our area conference included over 600 competitors representing 25 high schools. Students can compete at the high school, middle school, and collegiate levels. Brenham High School brought 29 competitors. Out of those, 20 qualified for the Teach Tomorrow Summit. The state conference will be held in Dallas on February 26th through the 28th. There we will compete against more than 6,000 TAFE members with the hope of advancing to the national conference in Portland, Oregon this June. At the summit, our members will also attend breakout sessions similar to mini classes, and our seniors pursuing education will take part in a college signing celebration. On behalf of all of us, thank you for your continued support in helping our organization to grow. Your encouragement allows us to celebrate these achievements and continue to build the future of education.
Okay, now go up there.
Okay, I guess we have to go.
Go up there, guys.
Y'all just kind of get in there somewhere. Just back all the way up. I'll move this. Thank you, Ms. Callis, and students. Students, stop. Wait a minute. All students, stop. Just think about it. Think about it. You have an opportunity. You're doing what you're doing. You have an opportunity to come back here and teach in Brenham ISD. Okay? Let's make it happen.
Okay. Next, we consider possible approval of a resolution canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the bond election. Mr. Giltine?
Yeah, so this is a day we've been looking forward to for a long time. The official returns of the bond election were presented to the board for canvassing purposes and the possible adoption of a resolution declaring the election results. So at this time, our board president will read the language.
The board has been provided with returns, which were duly and lawfully made available to us by the judges and clerks holding and conducting the election. And we find that the following votes were cast in the election by voters who were resident qualified voters of the district. Proposition A, early voting, for 2247, against 1473. Election day votes, for 1,021, against 961. Total votes cast, for 3,268, against 2,434. We officially find, determine, and declare that the election has duly and properly ordered. Proper legal notice of the election was given in the English and Spanish language, that election officers were duly appointed prior to the election. The election was duly and legally held, and all residents, qualified voters of the district were permitted to vote. A majority of the resident qualified voters of the Brenham ISD voting in the election voted for the authorization and insurance of $39 million of bonds. Therefore, we find and determine that Proposition A passed at the election.
I'll make a motion to adopt the board resolution canvassing the returns of the bond election as presented.
I'll second.
All right, Justin Colley has made a motion, seconded by Kelvin Raven, to adopt a board resolution canvassing the returns of a bond election as presented. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Brenham. That's awesome. I'll turn my mic back on, and we'll start over again. Again, consider impossible approval of a resolution canvassing the returns and declaring the results of voter-approved tax rate election and other matters in connection therewithin.
Yes, so again, we're very fortunate to take both a bond and a voter-approved tax rate election to the voters. The official returns of the voter approval tax rate election were presented to the Board of Trustees for canvassing purposes and the possible adoption of a resolution declaring the election results. And again, at this time, Board President.
The board has been provided with the returns, which were duly and lawfully made available to us by the judges and clerks holding and conducting the election, and we find that the following votes were cast in the election by voters who were resident qualified voters of the district. Measure A, early voting, for 2,104, against 1,610. Election day votes, for 932, against 1,049. Total votes, for 3,036, against 2,659. We officially find, determine, and declare that the election was duly and properly ordered. Proper legal notice of the election was duly given in English and Spanish language. That election officers were duly appointed prior to the election. The election was duly and legally held, and all residents, qualified voters of the district, were permitted to vote. A majority of the resident qualified voters of the Brenham ISD voting in this election voted for the voter-approved tax rate, therefore, as provided in Measure A. Therefore, we find and determine that Measure A passed the election.
I would like to make a motion to adopt a resolution canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the voter-approved tax rate election as presented.
I second that.
Okay, Archer has made a motion, seconded by Bonnie Brinkmeyer, to adopt a resolution canvassing the returns and declaring the results of a voter-approved tax rate election as presented. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Again, congratulations, Ben. This is fantastic for us, so this is awesome. All right, that was a mouthful. Next, we have a superintendent's monthly update.
Yeah, so real quickly, I sometimes hesitate to start recognizing groups because we have so many kids doing great things, and I know I'm going to forget somebody. But Mr. Watts said it just a minute ago. What an awesome program that is, us growing our own teachers right here in Brenham ISD. I've said many times before, when I stand in front of the entire staff of almost 800 and say, how many of you went to school here, more hands go up than any place I've ever been. So to have a program like this that grows our own teachers is just absolutely amazing. This past week, as you know, many Veterans Day programs that I know some of you got out and got to be a part of. The band was incredible at the state championship. That had to be their best performance. It was so cool to watch them. And of course, our football team entered into the playoff competition and advanced, and will be playing again Friday night. So what a great thing. And to highlight a few of those groups before I move forward, I want to just unpack a little bit of those motions that were just made, because I keep being asked amongst the community what's next in the way of the Vader and the bond. So with the passing of the Vader, the district can now move forward with the new higher maintenance and operations tax rate. Remember, you passed that already on the contingency that it did pass. The administration will begin posting additional positions based on needs assessments with the campus principals. So we'll start those conversations very soon with the principals about just exactly what they need. As you all know, we absorbed about 50 professional positions across the district over these last couple of years to help balance the budget. And while that was much needed, and we're very proud of that work, we know that we need to do something about that teacher-student ratio. And we're excited to be able to take this past Vader and move forward with that. So also employees will or may receive the additional money in their paycheck from the Vader. So they'll be back paid for this fiscal year when they started their contract. Some of them July, some of them August. Their paychecks. Did I? And September, and that's right, and some of September back pay for those months through December. So they'll see that reflection in their December paycheck. So we'll start those conversations soon, and Brooke and I will work on pumping out some information in my staff FYI, so that's clear for everyone to understand. With the bond, and that's where most of the questions come from. So again, tonight you certified those results. We'll now sort of set up some oversight groups that consists of a lot of communication with the community. I've heard over and over again, okay, y'all have done great with transparency, but it can't stop, right? It's got to continue now that the bond's passed. So we have every intention of making sure that continues. We will we'll use an RFQ to hire an architect. That's required under our laws that we have to abide by. Firms submit their qualifications. We review the submissions, and then we'll interview the finalist, the architects, and the board will select which firm they want to move forward with. So from that, we'll also secure a construction manager, and we'll begin putting that money to use. So a little bit about that, the money, the bond sale preparation, and Daryl, feel free to jump in if you need to, but I know we have a meeting with Steve, our financial planner, just this week, and bond counsel to help prepare for the sale of those bonds. The bond counsel drafts the required documents. Those documents are submitted to the Texas Attorney General, who typically takes 4 to 6 weeks to approve them, from what I understand. After approval, the bonds are sold through a competitive or negotiated process. Of course, a lot of that has to do with the market value and timing, et cetera. So you could see, anywhere from, I'm going to be aggressive and say early March to late April, maybe. You think it could be sooner?
Actually, I did contact our financial advisor this afternoon, and he's hopeful that we could maybe have the bond sale by the end of February.
Okay, great. I saw, what? I saw that was the earliest possibility, and I didn't even want to say it aloud. But if he said it, then okay. Those his words, not mine. Any questions about that at all from the group? We will, again, keep you so informed, the community so informed. Again, we feel like we've done a real good job of that, which I feel like, I think you feel like, is why both of those passed. So we are charged as a team to continue with that transparency and to be sure everybody knows just exactly what's going on at all times. Okay.
Okay, we have board members' reports and comments. Kyle? Mr. Coots?
I got to be at the middle school, I think it was last week or the week before,
and love what they're doing. They had a parade of nations, I guess is what it was called, where kids put their floats together, had to look into the history of a nation, and then all these facts about it. What I loved was the collaboration and the creativity that it unleashed there, and it just made education fun. And I love that that's happened on a lot of our campuses. And so just a shout out to the middle school. I think it was Mr. Lewis's group and Ms. Thibodeau leading that charge there. You got some good people doing some great stuff, and I thought that was just a lot of fun. And the parents, grandparents, everybody came to see that. I thought that was a neat thing.
Hey, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the state marching festival or state marching contest for the band. It was a fantastic Monday and Tuesday in San Antonio. I did drive down there and watch the band perform on Monday, and it was their best show of the year, and I'll give them a lot of props. They put a lot of effort, time and effort into that show, and it was fun to watch, and a little bit overly emotional watching them on the field, so that was a lot of fun. I attended the veterans program at the high school. That was a great program. Don Hawley gave a great speech, kind of charged the students to chase your dreams, and it was a fantastic program put on. The ROTC continues to blow me away, and their routines and their ability and the stuff that they're working on. So I would encourage anyone in the community, if you have a chance to see the junior ROTC perform any of their routines, it'll blow you away, and it's just jaw-dropping, to be honest. So it's really cool to see those students work. And then the football game, great turnout from the community Friday night at the football game. I hope we can see some more, another great turnout in Hutto. I know it's about an hour and a half drive to get over to Hutto Memorial Stadium on Friday night, but I think it'll be well worth it. It should be a good game, and we can cheer on our Cubs. So that's all I got.
Well, the guys always like for me to talk a whole lot, but I'm not going to take too much time other than it's been a wonderful fall in so many ways. We have so many kids who are doing so well, and we're so proud of them. And thank you, teachers and principals and those of you who've worked with these kids. It's amazing what we've accomplished in this time period. If you think about it, from the first day that we had school, and now the fact that the community has allowed us to move forward with some real big projects that need to be done. Somebody years ago asked me, why do y'all have the kids come to school on Veterans Day? And that was at a time when we didn't have Veterans Day programs on a lot of the campuses. And my answer to that is our kids need to understand what veterans means and how we should celebrate, but in a way that shows us how much we appreciate those who have become, who have gone out of their way to keep us safe and to give us the country that we have. And so that's why we have school on Veterans Day. Every once in a while, somebody will ask us questions about that. Veterans Day is important, and children need to understand it. And this generation may not have been part of any kind of a war like predecessors have been through, but thanks to all of you who were there and helped us celebrate in our own way Veterans Day. And that's it.
So just have a few things. Participated in the homecoming parade, which we said Miss Proto organized that. It was 117 floats, which was the most we've ever had. The kids were fantastic. It terrifies me to see them all on the road like that, but that's why we were trunking the candy as far as we could to get them out. But it was great. The National Honor Society induction for this year's class, I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to go to that, to have a child that got inducted into it also. So it was just a really proud moment for me. And then I've never seen a band get a standing ovation at a football game before, but I saw it with my own eyes whenever Brenham was 2 or 3 weeks right before they went to the state. It was very moving to see the community support them and stand up and show them how proud they were. So shout out to Brenham for doing that. Those kids need all the support we can get, and they did fantastic. They made us proud. And that's it.
So at the Cubs game, I'm looking at employees, and you can see the shifting. You can see people smiling. You can see people happy to be here, and I'm just thankful to be a part of it. So just keep being positive and keep waiting on your blessing. Thank you.
I just want to thank our community for entrusting us with these two elections. they're massive steps for our district, and I know previously we had a lot of eroded trust in the community, and Clay and his team and this board and our staff have done a big job to try and rebuild that trust, and I think we've done a good job. And so I just want to thank our community members, our taxpayers, our voters for entrusting us with these bond and this Vader so that we can move forward in the future of Brenham ISD for our students. And I know that that was a big step for our community. So thank you very much.
Archer, thank you for saying that. I would say we all feel the exact same way, but I'm really glad that you brought that up because this was a huge step for us, and we fought long and hard to get there. So, man, really appreciate you stepping up and saying that today. Okay, next we have possible adoption of a board resolution electing candidates for membership on the board of directors for Washington County Tax Appraisal District. Mr. Gillentine.
Yeah, so if you'll remember, you saw something about this at our last board meeting. There are 5 positions on the Washington County Appraisal District Board of Directors and 5 candidates running. So I'm recommending that you distribute your votes evenly among all candidates. There's really no reason or benefit to doing it any differently. So unless there's any questions for me. Yep.
I make a motion to adopt the board resolution election candidate for membership of board of directors for the Washington County Tax Appraisal District as presented.
I second that.
Okay, Kelvin Raven made a motion, seconded by Bonnie Brinkmeyer, to adopt a board resolution electing candidates for membership on the board of directors for the Washington County Tax Appraisal District as presented. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have the consider and possible approval of targeted campus improvement plans for Brenham Middle School and Krause Elementary School. Chief Academic Officer Sarah Bohart and the Brenham Middle School Principal Aaron Thibodeau, as well as the Krause Elementary School Principal Sarah Cook, will present. Did I miss anybody?
I think you got us. So last board meeting, we went into district and campus improvement plans with y'all and really talked about the district improvement plan as a whole and how the campus improvement plans feed into that. Tonight, we're going to narrow our focus in to really look at a targeted improvement plan for 2 of the campuses that we have intentional focus in moving a letter grade. So I'm going to kind of review the plan. If you look in board book, you will see that you have this presentation. You also have the board doc that kind of explains, as well as both of the plans for you if you're following along in board book. And then our principals are just going to jump in when they're ready to jump in, or if y'all have questions in field. So I want to give you an overview of a targeted improvement plan. Yes? Do what?
What?
Oh, the flag. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm like, what's wrong? Okay, so the definition for a targeted improvement plan, it is a campus that has been identified for improvement under state or federal accountability. The purpose is to address root causes of underperformance. Monitoring is that ongoing review of aligned effective school framework levers, which you saw all of that in the narrative last month in the district improvement plan and campus improvement plan where we attached to those levers. Our goal always is continuous improvement and sustained growth, and that's what we're working towards. So we have Krause and Brenham that are working closely with the TIP, and then we also have a locally developed improvement plan at Brenham Junior High that we're watching very closely and targeting data and students as well. The school improvement strategy, so when we submit these campus improvement plans to the state, we have to choose a school improvement strategy that we're going to lean into. We chose in Brenham an intensive curriculum and instruction improvement. And if you look at these, the question that it asks is, does the plan increase the quality of instructional materials to be used at the campus and provide adequate time and support for teachers to internalize materials and reflect on student performance? And so looking at the criteria for that,
We do have the amount of instructional days needed. We are using State Board of Education approved high quality instructional materials or open education resources. We do have high quality PLCs to support that instructional delivery and respond to student outcomes weekly. This is a wheel that just kind of keeps coming with me everywhere we go, but I think it's really important to share that part of that intensive curriculum and instruction has a lot to do also with the capacity of the teacher to deliver high quality instruction. So we have curriculum, which are the materials that we use, and then we have instruction, which is how we deliver instruction in ways that increase student outcomes. What we know is that there is a need to build capacity. So through this system that we have, and I've gone over it many times with y'all, but we do have job embedded professional development in our PLCs. We do have data driven instruction where we're looking at data. We have the high quality materials. We have a rigorous education evaluation system with continuous observation and feedback. We're providing teachers leadership opportunities through PLC facilitator or mentor. We're running instructional leadership teams, and we're really working in on our literacy framework and how we mentor new mentees. So all these systems are at play every day on every campus to help really be a capacity lifter for us. This summer, Great Minds in ESC 6 came in and did some intensive work with us for Bluebonnet Math. Those teachers that did choose to come were paid a stipend to come through the LASSO grant. We have HMH that has supported us in ELAR. We have NIT, which is supporting us in our Learning Acceleration Support Opportunity Grant. And then we have Moat Casey that's working with us on really designing a literacy framework to drive teacher action, student action, principal actions, district actions to support literacy. So that plus the wheel is all the capacity building support that we have in place. So part of what we did is we looked at student outcome goals that we would set that would move us a letter grade. You can see I've defined for y'all on the slideshow kind of what each one has to do with. The first one, RLA in math, is strictly a meets grade level, which lets us know did they meet or exceed those grade level expectations, which is going to be tied both to student achievement and academic achievement monitored in Domain 3. Domain 3 really has a focus for us on closing the gaps, which is the federal accountability side, which has to do with our student populations, emergent bilingual, SPED, ECODIS, racial ethnic groups, to make sure that all students are meeting those targets. We have a growth component that lets us know where the student entered and then a year's growth. Did they maintain or grow, which is part of that growth component. It also, Sarah Montez, our emergent bilingual coordinator, came and presented to y'all, was it like a month ago, and really talked to y'all about the English language proficiency component that's tied to TELPAS, which is also part, because the state and federal are watching to make sure that our emergent bilinguals are not staying stagnant and that they're learning the language. And then there's the student success component, which really lets us know our overall readiness and on track. So based upon Krause and Brenham Middle, these are the targets that we've set to kind of see our outcome goals. These are our benchmarks in which we're measuring as we do that data-driven instructional support to move a letter grade. And y'all can follow along with that as well in your slideshow. So then we have the performance management piece, which is a part that's managing to make sure that all those systems are at play and what are the ways that we can serve and support. So the leading and learning is helping monitor performance. We're doing quarterly data reviews. We had one today. And we're doing calibration curriculum walks with district leadership tied to action steps. We also have NIET, which is our external provider, plus principals and APs and instructional coaches are continually walking classrooms and looking at how we're delivering instruction and providing feedback to teachers. So that performance management piece is in place as well. We have to name a district coordinator of school improvement. That will be the chief academic officer, which is myself. The resources, we've had continual professional development. Curriculum training this summer kicked off. We are doing monthly instructional coaches specialist meetings, those PLCs. We're taking 16 leaders to Teach Like a Champion in Houston in February, which is like seeing Taylor Swift for educators. Like, to go see Doug Lemov is like a big deal. So we're really excited about the opportunity. He's coming to Houston. And so 16 of us are going to go and learn and then bring back for that. And then we have all the curriculum materials that the board has helped us purchase, which has to do with the HMH, the Bluebonnet Math, Savas, the DBQ project, Sirius. These are all new materials that have come in within the last 2 years. DBQ project has been here. I think we just went more extensive for that, to have that guaranteed and viable curriculum. So that's in place. The stakeholder feedback, they have notifications posted on their website and in their parent square. Also working with their guiding coalitions to get feedback from stakeholders. That window for feedback will close towards, I think it's Thursday, that we're going to close all that feedback coming. So really our next steps are going to be the board approval of these TIP plans. Then I will submit them to TEA to notify them of our district plan. They'll let me know if they approve them. I'm pretty sure our plan is very extensive, so it should be approved. It meets all the metrics that they're looking at. They'll let us know if we have to have any revision by January 23rd. Then we have to have those revisions if we are asked by March 24th, and then TEA will let us know if our plan's approved in April. So I want you to know testing occurs in April. So they look at school improvement as a 2 to 3 year process, right? Because we're putting all this in place now, but I think the state does recognize, it takes time. So those are kind of just the big highlights. So we're here to answer questions or anything that Aaron and Sarah would like to add.
Sarah, can you explain why only 2 campuses have TIP plans?
So a TIP plan follows very closely to that campus improvement plan, but when a targeted improvement plan is when we see that the school performance of a D that has been more than 1 or 2 years. So I think what is important, and it's really hard to understand, is we have state accountability that has different measures like A, B, C, D, F, right? But then we have federal accountability, which is tied to all of the closing the gaps, the domain 3. And so the federal accountability is watching how our subpopulations, that all kids are making progress, where the state is just going to give us the A, B, C, D, F rating. So we're trying to manage both pieces of accountability. So these 2 campuses were identified mainly because of the domain 3 closing the gap score under that. Yes.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you, very.
That's a lot of hard work.
It is a lot of hard work.
It's going to take time, but I know y'all can do it.
Right. Well, the principals all principals are working incredibly hard. There's people in their buildings continually with NIT, with the LASSO grants, tied, which we were awarded those grants really tied to that. And so, I think something that we talked about today in one of the meetings was school improvement really is a whole school effort. It cannot just be one grade level or one tested subject. I was reminded of that today. And I think it also has to be looked at as a whole district improvement process, right? It's going to take all of us rowing in the same direction to be able to create those outcomes. So
I'd like that. It's just Ms. Cook and Ms. Thibodeau.
yeah.
What about from you all? Because this is an undertaking you guys got to come up against. Are there additional things that you need in order to be successful in this, or do you have everything you need right now?
It's a loaded question.
It is. But they're awesome, so I know they're going to be.
Sarah asks us that all the time. So weekly, we're getting contact to see if there's anything else we need. What else do we need? And they're very responsive. So just approving the hire of, she was asking me what's made the difference because I feel like I'm in the classrooms more this year. And just approving the hire of a DAEP administrator has been a tremendous help because my APs are on campus. And so they're able to handle all the things with discipline and such. So it's afforded me the opportunity to be in the PLCs more. All the things that we have in place are working well. Our meeting today was sort of reassurance that we just stay the course because it's on track, but it's slow. And our teachers are doing a great job. Our teachers are working really hard. Everybody's continuing to learn and grow. Everybody's getting feedback. and just even that's what I was telling my custodians, like if that window's dirty, that plays into if our kids are going to perform, you got to clean it so we can get the good scores. You've got to clean that window. So we are preaching it to everybody. It's a whole culture of accountability and growth. And so, yeah, I think we have what we need.
Yeah, I mean, we're improving our systems, and so giving that time to allow our teachers to learn and grow with new materials and under the measures that are put in place for us is just what we're working toward. And it is a slow process, but we will see growth with our kids.
Can I add something to that? I think one thing talking about the process, you think about, I'm just going to use something that y'all have experienced, the budget, the financial situation, right? And how tonight we celebrated such great success, but that has been years in the undermaking and restoring trust and all the variables that y'all have gone into to really help financially. You know that it's the same thing for school improvement. I want to believe with my whole heart that we can do a rally and come in 31-30 fourth quarter, right? Like Texas A&M just did. And that's what we're totally focused on. I was using that with them all today. I mean, I don't even watch football very well, but I want to hear his halftime speech because whatever it was, like they came out like fire and they did it. And so we want to have that passion and energy, and yet we have new teachers in our buildings, right? We have over 60 teachers that joined us from either different places or new, and then the same second year teachers. So building capacity, we're building capacity, and I want to believe come May, we are going to come in, and do really well. But I also want to paint a realistic picture of the systemic issues that we're working through and all of that plays into it. But we're showing up every day like it is game day, and we're giving it our all.
I remember sharing when we were at Central Office where Krause is very unique and Brenham Middle is very unique in our situations, especially emergent language. And then also you're taking all the kids from all the elementary schools. So that in and of itself is a massive lift. And so just a lot of props to you guys just seeking to raise the bar even more. So way to go. And Sarah, great work. That's awesome.
It takes all of us. Is that it? So we will need someone to approve it.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the targeted campus improvement plans of Brenham Middle School and Krause Elementary School as presented.
Second.
Okay, Bonnie Brinkmeyer made a motion, seconded by Justin Colley, to approve the targeted campus improvement plans for Brenham Middle School and Krause Elementary School as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank y'all for all y'all's work. Okay, next, possible approval of a payment to Belfour Property Restoration for summer storm damage. Mr. Sinclair?
Good evening. We did have payments last month, as you may recall, and after checking multiple times to make sure that we have everything that we currently are needing to pay to Belfour, all the invoices that we need to be paying, we do have all of them. The last three are included in your board packet. These are the last three final payments, totaling $1,205,521.16. Again, this is related to our storm damage from Memorial Day weekend, I believe it was, and the hail damage that we had, the repairs, the restoration, the cleanup that went pretty much all summer long. And we have already received these funds from the TASB Risk Management Fund, which is basically the district's insurance provider. So these funds have already been received by us a few weeks ago, actually. And so there really is no delay. They've been reviewed. Everything seems to be in order. So we just need a motion from the board to approve this, since it is well over $35,000.
Before we approve all that, it's a lot of fees on here. I'm assuming this was, I don't want to say audited, but cross-checked by somebody, because just the amount of latex gloves and trash bags and things that they billed us for, it's kind of ridiculous. But I'm assuming there was some type of oversight other than just saying, hey, Belfour, go, and here's a blank check. Because it is page after page after page of overtime hours and I mean, lots of regular hours, but then there's overtime. And then as far as materials, the material list is insane. So, I mean, I understand we need a lot of mop heads because we're doing a lot of cleaning, but was it really that many? Was it that much, really, that many gloves and that many? And that's just me nitpicking because that happens to be the page that I'm on. But I don't know how many pages this is, but it's like 400 pages of just fees. But was there any oversight on this? Did anybody go back and cross-check some of the, or is it TASB that does that?
Yes.
Where the buck stops here? Who's that guy?
I've been assured that TASB has reviewed. In fact, they had a third-party vendor review Belfour's documents. That was part of the delay in even getting the invoices to us, because they wanted to review it and they wanted their third-party vendor to review it independently to make sure that everything was in line.
Is a lot. I mean, there was a lot went into this, but we will need some action.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment for summer storm damage to Belfour property restoration as presented.
I'll second.
Justin Colley made a motion, seconded by Kelvin Raven, to approve a payment for summer storm damage to Belfour property restoration as presented. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Daryl. Since you're here, love a financial update.
All righty, we'll get started with that here in just a second. All right, so you'll have there, you have in your board packet and then here on the presentation, the updated information for our approved budget. Again, this is our general fund, food service fund, and debt service funds, and the actual the actual receipts so far, the cash receipts on this first slide. So we have now received $17.5 million of the $66 million we're expecting this year. Just a reminder, we have received our final TEA payment until next August. So we get paid in September, we get paid in October. Those payments have been posted. We've had a small amount of tax collection, but we'll get to more about that here in a second. But moving forward between now and, well, next August, we'll be relying mainly on our tax collections to fund the operations of the district. So you'll start noticing the local revenue increasing significantly, that first row of data there, and the state revenue will probably stay pretty static now for a while. Okay, our investment report. Again, we have our Texas Class, Tex Pool, Lone Star Investment, and actually I guess I should change that technically. Well, I guess in October it was still Bank of Brenham. It is now Cadence Bank. But we have those different investments there. I would like to point out that the rates have not dropped significantly. They're just, every month it seems like I tell you they've dropped just a tiny bit more, just a little bit more. Tex Pool's down about 0.11%, so not much. Lone Star, the same thing. And Texas Class, only 0.08. So even with the reduction in the Fed rate, it's not being realized very much here so far. We're hoping that our rates we're expecting they're probably going to drop below 4% before we get to the end of the school year. I did visit with one of our Tex Pool representatives last week. He was mentioning that their expectation is probably the high 3s, 3.8, 3.9 before it's all said and done. But so far, we're still holding on to 4+. So we're excited about that. And as we always do, once I mentioned a second ago, our tax collections will start up here soon. Once we start seeing the bulk of that, we'll start shifting that over, whatever we don't need in our general operations account to fund the actual day-to-day activities, week-to-week payments and payroll. We'll move as much of that over as we can so we can collect that higher interest rate. Our tax collections, you will notice that it has been reset to the 2025 current year. It has been 2024 up until this meeting today. The notices are being sent out, probably have been sent out by now from the appraisal office. And you'll notice we really don't have much in the way of current year collections there in that center column, taxes paid column. We do have just a tiny bit coming in so far, but that's what will shoot up here pretty quick in the next couple of months. And so the levy's been reset, which is that very, well, it's in several places in different pieces and parts, but in that very top row in that first column in the yellow, our current tax year levy is just over 35 million. The delinquent levy just below that, just over 2 million, for a grand total of not much more than 37 million. So those will be the numbers we'll be hoping to close in on very closely by the time we get to August, September, well, July, August, September next year. But as I said, those have been reset, and so we'll start seeing the new collections coming in here in the next couple of months. And then finally, our comparison of expenses versus budgeted, actual expenses versus budgeted expenses. Again, you can see that the expenses are relatively low. We're only into the second, well, this is as of the end of October. It's only the end of the second month. And I will say, maybe for the last time, for a while, you know, we did have those August accruals back in August of 2025 where we charged the old year for work done but not paid for until we get to the new year. And then in September, we basically get a credit back. So these are not, especially in Function 11 and Function 36, these are not 2 full months of payroll. These represent all the regular expenses and probably about 1.5 to 1.5 months of actual payroll, because those credits are there kind of offsetting some of the September payroll, a good chunk of the September payroll. But other than that, things are progressing just as we would expect this time of the year. Any, excuse me, any questions about the finance update?
No, sir. It's not a lot of information on there yet, but it's coming in. Thank you for keeping up with it. Anybody have any questions for him? Okay. Since you're here, you want to talk about this budget amendments?
Yes, sir. We do have 3 budget amendments proposed for tonight. I will preface this explanation with, you may recall from back in June, I got this information from TEA in June. I probably either shared it with you at the end of June or in one of our July meetings, related to House Bill 2 and all the changes, the TRA, the staff retention allotment, all the other changes that were coming from House Bill 2. And one of the things that I'm pretty sure I remember pointing this out to you, because I think a couple of you even chuckled and made a comment or two, is that given the need for immediate action, oh, hold on, that's the wrong sentence. Oh yeah, there we go. Given the need for immediate action and many other changes to school finance from House Bill 2, school systems should anticipate having to make more budget amendments after the budget is initially adopted in the upcoming school year than is typical. And I would say this one right here is much more than typical, this very first one. If you recall, we were trying to figure out what amount of money we were going to be paying teachers who qualified as a teacher under the teacher retention allotment that would receive the additional funds. We did have the ABC allotment, I believe is what they call it, that we used to fund a good bit of the 3% raises that everyone received. So we had a lot of moving pieces and parts in June and July and going into August. We adopted our budget a little bit earlier than we typically do. Normally it's closer to the end of the month. We did it closer to the beginning of the month. So I say all that to say there was a lot of estimating going on back in the summer. A lot of estimating of salaries, not having really enough time to get final coding on salaries as they needed to be, just a lot of estimating. We did have some unfilled positions at the time, not all of which actually got budgeted in Function 11. The money's in the budget, it just wasn't necessarily in the correct function of the budget. And so what we're trying to do here, now that we've had time to reviewed the September and October payrolls, the actual payrolls, to see where exactly our coding is with what we're actually spending. And so I would like to recommend that we move $2.24 million from Function 36 over to Function 11 for those two main purposes, partly of catching up to the actual coding. A lot of this is due, coaches especially are split funded between Functions 11 and Function 36. And so at the time, back in the summer when we were doing our estimates, a lot of those salaries were being coded strictly to Function 36. Well, now they've been recoded correctly throughout the end of August and the 1st of September. And so now we need to shift those funds around to catch up to where they're actually being spent. So that's that First Amendment there. Again, doing a full review, as I did a few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago, over all of the September and October payroll to see where we are right now and predictions about where we will end by the end of the current fiscal year when all 12 months are done. We're a little bit underfunded, it looks like, in benefits and extra duty pay in the transportation department. So I'd like to move about $60,000 again from Function 36, where we have really too much money, over to Function 34. And then the last thing that has recently come to my attention, we did qualify for a mentor program allotment from TEA. And so that was something that Sarah worked on and I believe did the application so we could receive those funds. Now, if you have questions about the individual details about what that provides, you'll have to check. We'll have to talk to Sarah about that. We were just talking about this last week. But anyway, we do have $50,000 additional dollars coming from TEA. The deal is it's not a grant. A lot of the funding we get, extra funding, comes as a grant. It's in a separate fund. This is not. This is part of our regular foundation school funding that we get in our 3 payments that we get from TEA throughout the year. And so this is like, I guess you could say it's like our state comp ed payments. It's like our special ed payments. It's like a lot of the revenue that we get that's identified, but it's just part of a big payment we get directly from TEA. So basically we need to be able to carve out the expense accounts that were not budgeted for this $50,000 program, but we've already got the revenue in our calculations. So we need to carve this out and actually set up the expense account so we can start spending that money the way that it needs to be spent. So that's the reason for that third amendment. Any questions?
I make a motion to approve the budget amendments as presented.
Second.
Motion was Kelvin Raven made a motion, seconded by Justin Colley, to approve the budget amendments as presented. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Next, we have the consent agenda. We can approve everything or pull anything if we need to.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Justin Colley made a motion, seconded by Kelvin Raven, to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Sorry about that. We've done a lot of those today. I feel like I've been asking for a vote like 50 times tonight. Okay, next we have monthly reports for information purposes. And we will need to go into executive session tonight. So an executive session will be held for the purpose authorized by Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Section 551071, consultation with attorney, and 551074, personnel matters. The Board of Trustees went into executive session at 7:03 p.m. according to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551071, consulted with attorney, 55074, personnel matters. All final votes, actions, or decisions will be taken in open meetings. Okay, the board reconvened at 7:18, and with no further business to come before the board, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.